Where is democracy? Is it at your place of work? When was the last time you influenced company policy, the incident at last year's Christmas party notwithstanding? Can democracy be found at your local bank? I don't have a joke, a quip, or even a pun for this bank part. How the hell does one write a joke about the intersection of democracy with banking? Well, some might argue, try being a comedian, because they'd manage it. Where is democracy? Is it at your local bank? Setup, punchline, hilarity. I'm having an off day, I suppose. Where can you find democracy? Did it fall between the sofa cushions? Have you checked? No, you haven't, have you? Where is democracy? Is it in the bottom drawer of the tool chest at Bill and Bub's Pump and Dump gas station? Just in case you were unaware, I'm now doing a list of where democracy might be in increasing orders of ridiculousness. I mean, come on, it's hardly likely to be nestling underneath your sofa cushions, right? Where is democracy? We're still on the list, going in an increasing order of ridiculousness. I might have mentioned it. Is it in the Parliament or Congress? Let's have a chat about representative democracy. Let's get the most basic problem of representative democracy out of the way first. There you are, dear viewer, a voter, and being the sort who doesn't necessarily vote blindly along partisan lines, you instead analyse the candidates' positions like an adult would, an adult that might, say, eat vegetables out of choice. Let's say you want free puppies and ice cream, an end to spinach, and some movement on the issue of whether a Jaffa cake is really a cake or just a biscuit by any other name for the purposes of avoiding taxes. I don't even care if you know what a Jaffa cake is or not. I don't have to appeal to a broad audience. You size up the candidates. Candidate 1 pledges that everybody shall have puppies, but free ice cream is just too expensive. This candidate, who has shares in Big Spinach Incorporated, says spinach is just fine and is staying on the menu, and they staunchly defend Jaffa Cake's status as cake. Candidate 2 promises that free puppies are out of the question, but free ice cream is doable. Spinach, they declare, is an unholy evil and that Popeye doesn't know what he's talking about. They also say they will form a committee to look into Jaffa cakes. Are you beginning to see the problem with elective representation? A candidate for office might hit some of your checkboxes but not others, while a different candidate might hit some of the same checkboxes or none of them. The issues you care about might not be addressed by either candidate. It's all very well voting for the person who is going to pour funds into a puppy breeding program because that's what everybody wants. But you're not so keen on their eugenics program for human beings. This is assuming, of course, that a given candidate will even hold to their campaign pledges. Keir Starmer, currently the leader of the Alternative Conservative Party in the UK, the Labour Party, can attest to this. Keir Starmer, it must be noted, obviously didn't pass through the object permanent stage of childhood development, because if he had, he wouldn't have written down the election pledges for all to see that he then did a complete 180 on. I only had 2 candidates in the last scenario because a lot of representative democracies only have a 2-party system. Yay, choices. Let's briefly examine why a 2-party system is a recipe for disaster. You can't see me, dear viewer, but here I am in the USA waving my hands around at everything in general. In the USA, there is one political party. It's right-wing, but they did a trick where half the party is one colour and the other half is another colour. They both want to fund the nearly $1 trillion war machine every year, provide bailouts for corporations in the billions of dollars, provide unlimited support for the terrorist organization that is Israel, and I cannot emphasize this enough, have no interest in giving you anything you want because you are not a multinational corporation or a billionaire. The same is true for the UK. There is no difference between the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, well, other than the colour of their ribbon. As far as I can determine, the two-party system is, in part, designed to keep people at each other's throats so that they don't notice that the system of government doesn't serve them, at least not in terms of meaningful policies that would benefit them. For example, the Republican Party hates immigrants and has policies to keep the brown people out of the USA. The less right-wing media wrings its hands about babies in cages and the like, while the more right-wing media celebrates the fact that these interlopers won't be a drain on the welfare state, even though immigrants contribute more to the economy through taxes than they receive in any kind of benefits. The Democratic Party also hates immigrants and has policies to keep the brown people out of the USA. But, and this is the important difference, they say they love the immigrants. The less right-wing media doesn't do any reporting on the fact that the Democrats, in recent history, have deported more people than the GOP could ever dream of. The more right-wing media just sits on its hands while rocking in the corners screaming, "Open borders to anybody who will listen." It really doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter if you vote. A vote within the current system is essentially a waste of your time. The powers that shape our lives don't need your vote as both parties are in their pockets. What powers are those, Patrick? I hear you ask, or I would hear you ask if I was at the correct location in your space-time. Perhaps representative democracy just needs a bit of reform. It clearly isn't working, is it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm here to tell you that it is working exactly as intended, and in the next episode we'll examine just why that is. I liken representative democracy to a toilet with poo and wee in it. Reformists who believe that representative democracy would work if the right laws were enshrined, or the right people voted in, or if somebody would only flush the toilet. The problem with this is that you can flush the toilet all day long, but it will ultimately yield the same unsatisfactory results. As an anarchist, I want to smash the toilet. It is at this point that the metaphor starts to break down a bit for me because, once the toilet is broken, I do wonder where I'm going to do my business. Thank you for watching. Please dislike the video and do not subscribe to my channel. Mess with the metrics. That's the kinds of things I like to do.